Hello, I hope you are doing well during these difficult times of the COVID-19 pandemics. My name is Leonardo Campillos-Llanos and I am a research scientist at the Spanish National Research Council. I want to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to give this talk at this event, where I will provide a bird's eye view of NLP resources for Spanish medical text mining. I will first contextualize the settings and needs, then I will briefly provide an overview of dictionary and terminology-based methods. I will speak about the UMLS Metathesaurus and MedLexSp, a lexicon we developed in a recent project. Next, I will list some corpora available for data-intensive methods and conclude. Please note that I won't have time for all the existing resources, so sorry if I have missed other references. As you might know, natural language processing, or computational linguistics, is a branch of artificial intelligence that enhances computers' understanding of human language and text-based user interaction. There are more and more medical applications to enhance the access to medical information, help knowledge discovery, or interact by means of health chatbots. Let's see an example from a text from Wikipedia. La enfermedad de Alzheimer, EA, también denominada demencia senil de tipo Alzheimer, DSTA o simplemente Alzheimer, es una enfermedad neurodegenerativa que se manifiesta como deterioro cognitivo. So, given such a text in natural language, we can recognize the main entities, such as those involved in the text, but beyond that, we can also try to classify terms semantically. So in blue we would have the disorders, and in red we would have the symptoms. We can also try to map certain terms to standard codes or thesauri. For example, Alzheimer would have this code in the International Classification of Diseases. Lastly, we could try to infer relationships between entities. So Alzheimer is a type of enfermedad neurodegenerativa. But what are the problems of natural language? As you could see, one problem relies on the many different types of term variants. So we have different variant words referring to the same concept, some with proper names such as enfermedad de Alzheimer, others with abbreviations and acronyms that are difficult to understand, and synonyms of the same concepts, besides spelling variants, uppercase, lowercase, word order variants, etc. Another problem are ambiguous terms. So radio, if we don't have any context, can be interpreted as a body part, a chemical element, or a medical procedure, radiography. How do we process biomedical text? First, we could find dictionary or knowledge-based methods. So this could be, for example, using a lexicon or disorders, diabetes, Alzheimer, etc. Second, we could use rule-based approaches using regular expressions, patterns, grammars. In the example given, the pattern enfermedad de followed by a proper name could recognize terms such as enfermedad de Alzheimer, enfermedad de Addison, etc. Third, data-intensive methods rely on large volumes of data for machine learning or deep learning algorithms to learn from this data and predict new labels or categories. The combination of methods into hybrid approaches provides certainly fine results. We can give a very quick overview of dictionary or knowledge-based methods. These terminologies and thesauri are databases of terms and concepts, and ontologies also include relations between concepts. One of these resources is the International Classification of Diseases, which is aimed at diagnostic and epidemiologic studies. The most implemented version is currently the number 10th, and in this image you can see that the axes of this classification are distinguished by body systems. So terms and codes are related to diseases of the respiratory system Others are related to diseases of the digestive system, etc. Another sample of thesaurus is the medical subject headings, which is developed by the National Library of Medicine for indexing journal articles, for example in PubMed. But if we need to process clinical or hospital data, we would need to use the systemized nomenclature of medicine clinical terms, also known as SNOMED-CT. This nomenclature defines concept codes and ontological relations, among others, and you will need to request a license to use it. And there are many other terminological resources that I don't have time to detail here. For example, the Medical Dictionary for Regulatory Activities, or MEDRA, used for pharmacovigilance, the Anatomical Therapeutic Chemical Classification for Pharmacological Substances, etc., etc. Luckily, we have a resource called the Unified Medical Language System Metathesaurus, which is also developed by the National Library of Medicine. This is a common and unified space for diverse terminological resources. There, synonym terms are grouped according to concept unique identifiers. So, in the image, the concept referring to Addison's disease has assigned a code, which is here in the image, C0001403, and this code allows grouping the different term variants in each terminological source, from MES, ICD-10, etc. The UMLS is huge, covers many languages. I invite you to click on the link to see the statistics. And this large volume makes it difficult to use it as it is. We need to adapt it for the final task. I want to introduce the MedLex Lexicon, which is a resource we developed in a recent project at Universidad Autónoma de Madrid. This lexicon includes domain knowledge, entity types, and UMLS concept codes, and linguistic knowledge, such as part-of-speech categories and variant forms. So, for the term cancer de colon in the first row, we include the concept identifier, the singular and plural forms, the categories, and also the domain categories from UMLS, such as the semantic type, which would be neoplastic process, or the semantic group, which would be DISO. This resource is freely available for research, so through a signed agreement, so don't hesitate to contact us. Lastly, moving on to data-intensive methods, these are methods that need annotated corpora, so that machine learning methods and deep learning models learn from the input. Unfortunately, the annotations are costly and time-consuming because we need experts, and also we require quality assessment of the annotations, for example, by measuring the inter-annotator agreement. In these tables, you can find some corpora available, but as I don't have enough time, I provide a link below where you can access the reference provided. What I want to show you very quickly is that these corpora include different text genres, so some are made up of real clinical cases, and others are made up of medication leaflets or forum, and also are made of radiology reports. Likewise, the annotations differ, and some corpora annotate anatomic entities, pathologic conditions, but others even annotate abbreviations and acronyms, and negation and speculation. I will finally introduce a corpus that we have annotated in a recent project, which includes journal abstracts and clinical trial announcements. This corpus includes annotations of UMLS entities and will be available soon. So to conclude, terminology resources are needed to register and interlink information, and to do so, the UMLS Metathesaurus helps to map concepts using synonyms or relations. However, no resource or method is multipurpose, but domain or task dependent. On the one hand, the output from knowledge-based methods is more interpretable but less robust. So we need to adapt resources, rules, corpora to each application or task. On the other hand, the output from data-intensive methods is more robust but less explainable. We need to integrate knowledge and data-intensive methods to achieve an explainable medical artificial intelligence that can be trusted by health professionals. Okay, so I hope all this information is useful for you. I think it's too much information in too short time, but hopefully you will make use of it. See you next time. Bye.